Hey guys, today we're talking about multiplying and dividing variable expressions. So it's going to be very similar to last week, which was adding and subtracting, except we're just multiplying and dividing now. So I'm going to start with some examples. We have 2 times 5 plus s. So what I'm going to do, this is multiplying, and I need to use a distributive property so that I multiply whatever's on the outside by everything on the inside. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times s is just 2s. And that's it. So let's keep going. Number 2, negative 3 times x plus 1 over 6. So again, I'm going to use that distributive property. Negative 3 times x is just negative 3x. And I'm going to multiply the negative 3 times the fraction now. Negative 3 times 1/6. Remember, there's always that imaginary number sitting under a whole number. And when we're multiplying, we just multiply the top numbers and multiply the bottom numbers. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and 1 times 6 is 6. But I can see that that fraction actually reduces, so I'm going to need to reduce it. So negative 3x minus, and 3/6, you can divide both top and bottom by 3, and if we do that, we get 1/2. So that's what that one equals. Number 3, we have 6 times 3.1 minus 4b. So again, just use that distributive property and multiply whatever's on the outside by everything on the inside. 6 times 3.1 is going to be 18.6, and 6 times a negative 4 is going to be negative 24b. And that's it for that one. All right, so let's move on to some dividing. Remember, pause the video if you need to take notes and I'm moving too fast. You can always pause or rewind. So for our division examples, I know I skipped one. It's okay. I'm going to go to number 5. 2d minus 6 over 2. So remember, fraction means divide. And since I have a fraction bar in this one and a 2 on the bottom, it means divide by 2. However, since I have more than one thing on top, I have to divide that 2 by everything that's on top. So if I were to break this down and write it in a different way, I would write 2d divided by 2 minus 6 divided by 2. Because that 2 on the bottom goes under everything that's on top. If I had 5 things on top, it would be divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2. Okay? So let's solve this one. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, or d. So I'm just going to write it as d. You could write it as 1d. That would be fine. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. Minus sign in the middle, so I'm going to leave the minus sign. Okay? Negative 15j plus 30, all divided by 5. Okay, so that means I have negative 15j divided by 5, and I have plus 30 divided by 5. So negative 15 divided by 5 is going to give me a negative 3, and then I'm going to write the variable. And then 30 divided by 5 is going to give me 6. So that would be our answer. Let's do one more with division. Negative 4.2w, I forgot my negative sign, minus 3.5, all divided by 0.7. Okay, don't freak out because of the decimals. They're not a big deal. All you're going to do is use your calculator. So negative 4.2 divided by 0.7. That gives me a negative 6W. And then I have 3.5 divided by 0.7, which gives me a negative 5. Because those are both negative up top, they're going to stay negative in my answer. Okay? And let's go to the next thing. So the next section for today is evaluating variable expressions with multiplication and division. That means they're going to tell me what x, y, and z equal, and then I have to plug in those numbers and solve some sort of expression. So they said x equals negative 3, y equals 7, and z equals 0.5. And they gave me this in the directions, okay? And then they're going to give me a problem to solve. So number 9 says 3 times z minus 0.7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 0.5 for z. 0.5 minus 0.7. Okay, remember you can solve this two ways. You can do parentheses first, like order of operations says. So we could do 0.5 minus 0.7, which is how I'm going to solve it because that just makes more sense to me. Or you can use the distributed property and you can multiply the 3 by everything inside and then combine the terms after you've multiplied. So I'm going to combine first, parentheses first, and then I'm going to multiply. So I have 0.5 minus 0.7. That's going to give me negative 0.2. And I still have that 3 on the outside because I haven't used it yet. Now, parentheses, when two things are written next to each other, that means multiply. So I'm going to do negative 0.2 times 3, and I get negative 0.6. All right. Well, let's try another one. Let's try, actually, I'm going to go to number 12. This will be my last example. So 3y plus x all over negative 9. So this time I have more than one thing to plug in to my expression, which is totally fine, and let's just do it. So 3 times 7 plus x, which is negative 3, all over negative 9. Now, when I have all numbers in my division equation or expression, I'm going to work out everything on top before I divide. So we're going to do all this calculation on the top and then we're going to divide last. So 3 times 7 is 21. And then I still have plus my negative 3. And it's still all over negative 9. So now I'm going to do 21 minus 3, or plus a negative 3, which is going to be 18. So that gives me 18 over negative 9. And then I'm just going to divide. That's my last step now. I've got a whole number on top and a whole number on bottom, and just divide. So 18 divided by negative 9 is going to equal negative 2. And that's all there is to it. So feel free to email me if you have any questions, and I will see you next time. Bye.